Howdy! Welcome back. My name is Oatmealent, and today we'll be continuing our playthrough of Japan in EU4. Where we last left off, we were in the process of annexing the daimyos, or vassals, of Japan, and pushing forward to technological advancement such that we can colonize the Philippines and hopefully eventually California, with the end goal being to boost our rank from the lowly 110th to first through relatively peaceful colonial expansion, with potentially some picking on Korea for their Chinaware provinces. Overall, we had some success annexing this gold-producing province and these two Chinaware provinces with the important center of trade. My strategy with Japan so far has been to turn down army maintenance and fleet maintenance while maintaining the best advisors that we can get our hands on. Now that I look at it, I see that here I'll start the improved diplomacy ticking. So if you can recall, you get a diplomacy hit for every vassal that you annex. Therefore, it gets harder and harder as you go along, but shouldn't stop us from trying. Oh, what a great way to start. We will start as our heir, who was pretty bad. If you remember correctly, I had put him in control of some troops in hopes that he was going to die, the 214 guy. He's right on par with the 131 guy in my opinion, but he has an average claim. So instead of going back up to 100, our legitimacy will go to 50. Well, let's read this event. Daimyo Oba had central Japan under his control. His only rivals were some other clans. In order to continue his military expansion, he sent his generals in all directions. They struck at this siege and requested reinforcements at that. However, he died. No one was able to help him, and he died. We have a new heir. We're all of 19. Oh, sweet! We have Awesome Sauce as our heir. Check this out. 565. Like, I don't know if I mentioned it, there's an achievement on Steam. Since I'm doing all this on Iron Man, I'm already cloud synced. There's an achievement for getting a ruler with greater than 5, or 5 or greater, in every category. I have got to make sure that this 19-year-old dies before this 17-year-old does. Well, this is... if you played Crusader Kings 2, you know there's a lot of ways to kill your ruler, but in this, there's not that many ways to kill your ruler. Now, he's pretty good as their general. What we're going to do is put him in command here and hope that he dies when I send him over there. I'm not so worried about the low stability, although maybe I ought to be. Definitely don't want any new revolts, so I guess I'm gonna pay for a stability boost. That'll take those revolts out of everywhere but Kyoto. Wonder why my vassals aren't sending their men. Huh. Normally the vassals will send their men. Oh, I noticed in the last video, here before I forget. The music volume is a little loud. So hopefully that does the trick. Maybe they have to take the province before the vassals respond, but I prefer not to move my troops from here. Pick up a military tech. Before I do this, I'm gonna check to see if there's a military advisor that would reduce military tech cost. Looks like no. So I don't really have anything else to spend that on except for suppressing revolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up because land morale, if I do end up needing to fight, will be useful. Sometimes you get awesome! Sometimes you get this as a mission. So this is one of those reasons that you would keep your missions tab open if there were no missions you wanted, because you might get a mission like this. It would only happen if you had rebellions currently. It says to defeat the rebels. They are rebels in fewer than one province. We don't have a lot of rebels. That shouldn't be too hard. I'm going to send these cogs over here, so in case I do have to pick up. I'm actually also going to transport 4 troops with my current ruler, who I'm not very fond of. I'm going to transport them over to fight these guys. I don't suspect that they'll win unless I crank up military maintenance, which I'll do temporarily. I have a little bit of money. Probably pick up this good advisor soon. Maybe this guy or that guy. I like this for the annexing process. But we're not quite there yet. Oh, I don't want them to take that province. It's a money-making province. If they take the province, then it'll get a tax hit for a long time and a looted modifier. I don't want that. So here, let's. This will be done coring soon. I won't have to worry about revolts there. Let's send some guys over here. Even if they lose, I'll just send some more guys. Make a new unit here. Yeah, I don't want them to take it. And they've already seen that. You can tell in this little symbol that they've already breached the walls by rolling a 14. I don't want that, so maybe I'll win. Looks like I'm gonna lose. That's perfectly fine. I'll just go grab more troops. Looks like you can't change rulers when they're in retreat, or maybe. Yeah, can't change rulers when they're in retreat. So that looks like my ruler will not die in this particular engagement. Rebels don't reinforce. So even if you can't beat rebels straight out, like I couldn't there, it's fine, because you'll beat them just by bashing against them over and over again. So that should have made it so that there's no revolt risk here. I don't know why it didn't. Oh, there it did. Needed to wait. Oh wow, they must have some cavalry. I deleted all my cavalry, if you remember. Cavalry are pretty good. Okay, so now I can swap out the ruler, put no leader, and I have one more chance for my ruler to die. I really want him to die before I beat the rebels too, because it'll reduce my stability by 1, and then, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm not at like stability cap, but it doesn't. It's not like it'd be that bad. I reduce it to -2, and then I'd get two free stability. It's like 100, 200 administrative points. So I better click it. Yeah, that would have been pretty bad. Okay, so they do win that siege. Well, if you could check. That'll get looted for this province. But I guess because they were pretender rebels, they don't get any of that other nasty modifiers. They're not tax rebels or... what's the other type of rebel? Religious rebels that would increase... Oh, I forgot to assign me that. I didn't think these walkers would be so faster than my road guys. It did. I'm gonna cut off their retreat if they have any, but they don't, so... Oh, I would have thought my mission was completed. Did anyone see any rebels? I certainly don't. Well... Definitely more interested in land force limit and... Okay, defeat the rebels. Okay, good. So I could choose prove legitimacy. That will actually happen. I probably will get to 100 legitimacy this time around because I have an heir with a strong claim. So that probably, you know, will happen, but who knows how long it would take. I don't know when I'm gonna... My current ruler's gonna die. Incorporate this people. The only people with 4 are these guys. Let's look for Tosa. Yeah, Tosa's in there. They're gonna be incorporated as soon as I can. I might try to get rid of this relative power to liege. I think that's actually a military power, so I might build a few troops. So how much? Create an army for our nation would give me 5 military tradition, which is okay, 5 prestige, which whatever. How many troops did I need to build? 75% of the force limit. We go over to military, and we see that 75% of 29. Well, let's just call it something that's divisible by 4, 28. That's 6, 7, 7. So I probably would need 29 minus 7 would be 22. I'd need to build 10 more troops. I'm not gonna do that. So that's definitely not happening. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I don't want this mission to swap out and go away. And since I know I'm definitely gonna annex them next, I'm gonna go ahead and take that mission. There's no revolt risk anywhere, so that's great. Ah, Manchu has a... Oh, these guys, Zhao. These guys are the guys that like have nothing but Chinaware. They have disputed succession. Oh, now there's a question. There's a good question. Would you give me a royal marriage? No. And why not? Because there's a long distance between our borders. It's not this positive and negative. It's not like if I improved my relationship with them by like 12 or 13 to get to +1 that they would actually give me this effect. No, I'd need to increase it by a lot for them to do this. Do they have any other royal marriages that might get in my way? Well, I don't really want to... If they were stronger, weird as this sounds, if they were stronger, I might consider it, but I don't really want the Ming to have this reconquest casus belli against me. even if I do want those two provinces, if they had this province too, this is the big money province. Oh, this one's actually making more. Must be something about the base tax. Yeah, base tax is 5 higher. Typically this province with the important center of trade is a more important target, but... definitely gonna keep my eye on Zhao. When I have Taiwan, I know I can fabricate a claim on this province. And I might do that. We might see a situation where I don't necessarily be so peaceful with Ming if Zhao got more powerful and the power were split. Let's see if they can have some more rebellions. Not a lot I can do. Do I have the support rebels? I do. And presumably they would have rebels who were of the same, like, thought that they should be Zhao. These people, looks like just these, this 4 provinces. 5 provinces. 5 provinces. So these 5 provinces think that they should be joining Zhao because they have this consider Zhao to be one of their core provinces. But because of the mandate of heaven, as long as they have positive stability here in the Ming, which they do, they have 5 reduced revolt risk. So until there's a stability crisis in the Ming, it's not really worth it to support rebels because there's no revolt risk. Ming may be terrible at getting technology because of its inward-looking policy, minus 50% technology, or an increased percentage of technology cost by 50%. But they're wonderful at not having revolts. Until they have even just -1 stability, they lose the mandate of heaven. So we'll be looking out for that. It's another thing to just check. If Ming ever has any... when they have a coalition against them. If Zhao were to join that coalition, they have casus belli on these cores. Interesting. I was really trying to play peacefully, but my inner Spike is screaming there's advantage to be had in a weak Ming. I was really just gonna use them as my bulldog. Just use them to, like, I don't know, make an alliance with them, and they'd basically be my land force. And they have a pretty significant navy. No one would come and mess with me over in Asia because I was gonna ally myself, get a royal marriage, and at very best, like, personal union Ming, and try to be super peaceful with them. And focus on colonialization because there's just all these rich lands of the Philippines. You look at the base tax for some of the very best, or the base total, some of the very best places in China. Well, not this good. Not like 15. Okay, so I don't know if you remember from last time, but Japan already has an inflation problem due to the gold mine in this province. So I'm gonna have to go into the inflation controlling idea group, probably as my second idea group after the colonial idea group. I'm probably just gonna go into economic ideas. Not so bad. I mean, as a peaceful player, economic ideas seem pretty good, and it's in the administrative column, so I don't have to worry about, like, conflicting with if I wanted to go with expansion and exploration. I would have to put, I mean, I would be needing an excess of the diplomatic power, whereas here, I could put these ideas over here. So I'm just gonna rack up the inflation at this point. It does cost a little bit, that's true, but only really in, yeah, I have yearly inflation reduction, but he doesn't beat the gold mine. He would cost an additional 5 per, he would cost an additional 10 per month off of my current advisor, and I have only +6. I really like the +3, but the yearly prestige is not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like inflation reduction. So I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna try to save up some money. Keep an eye on these. Like I said, I don't really want a personal union Korea, because I only really want these 2 Chinaware provinces from Korea, and they're welcome to keep the rest of their country. I know that Japan has had a sordid past, especially in this time frame, with attacking Korea, but right now they're acting as a buffer zone between me and Ming and Manchu. Once I take Taiwan, I'm gonna have a border. Sharing a Z-zone means they can fabricate claims on my stuff, so... Well, once I take Ming, I'll have a border with these guys anyway, so I might as well take this Korean province, which would give me a fabricate claims border. Oh, I'm not going to be attacking them anytime soon. Independence guaranteed by Ming. That'll go away if Ming ever's in any sort of distress, and at that point is when I'll strike. Okay, so, little trick you can do here. We already have a royal marriage, I see. Typically you can stop at 150, get a royal marriage, and the 15 boost off of giving them a gift, and get to the 190 necessary to start the annexation process. But I've already got a royal marriage with them. Looks like I already picked up a royal marriage last time with these guys, so now I have to wait till we're at 175 to give them 15 gift. I don't mind giving them like 25 gold to like save myself, I don't know, 15 months, so a year. Oh, the advisor died. Definitely gonna pick up the diplomatic reputation guy. I mean, I was just talking about how I wanted to spend my money on advisor points, but this is gonna be... This is gonna have the time that it takes to annex the vassals. Not the time that it takes to improve relations, but it'll have cut in half, the amount of time it takes to annex them. So, definitely picking him up before he goes away. Once again, I don't want to buy a 3, I wanted a 2. Someone who was a 2, but I don't have that option. I'm even yawning on my own game. I think I could settle these guys now. They're 63 away from this province, and I could always get fleet basing rights off of my vassals. Okay, so here's something. Spy defense, the only thing I can tell that it does is prevent people from fabricating claims. Like I said, Japan's actually in a really powerful position early on because it can just stay out of wars. The only person who could fabricate a claim on any of my stuff is Korea, and they're not in any condition to attack Japan. They'd have to take over large chunks of Manchu before they could have the ability to hope to win against this navy, and so I don't care. If I have poor spy defense for 10 more years. It's going to be 10 years before I get a colony going either in Taiwan or here, where we give the Ming, any reason to dow on me. I really don't want them to dow on me. Like I said, I just want to focus on accumulating wealth, spending it on advisors, getting to be at least a minor thorn in the side, technologically, of the Europeans. Because when I hit them, I don't want them to be able to roll over any of my colonies here in Asia, because they'll get the Colonial Casus Belli, I believe, against me. If I have a colony next to one of their colonies. And they'll definitely have it against me in the Americas. So, I prefer that not to happen. I kinda don't know quite yet, haven't played out that far, how deep into the island chain that runs in the Pacific Ring of Fire here I have to get before I can make a boat over to the Aztecs. You don't have to be close enough to actually colonize America. You just have to be close enough that a boat with a good explorer will survive a one-way trip to discover the Aztecs. You then improve relations with the Aztecs, get fleet basing rights with them, and until you have your first core in Americas, you just keep good relations with the Aztecs, and once you do, that's when you can start to mess with them and steal their gold and stuff. Unhappiness among the merchants. Well, lose 50 diplomatic power or lose 5 mercantilism. So if you go to the economic tab, where is trade power? trade. Mercantilism. Yep, okay. So, provincial trade power modifier is what mercantilism gives us. Now, historically, Japan loved mercantilism. They were just as protectivist as they could possibly be. But for my Japan, if this is all that mercantilism does for me, provincial trade power modifier, you give us a look in the Japan trade zone, which is where most of my initial power is going to be. Only Korea is going to be competing with me, and while they currently outrank me, once I pick up all of these trade power from my vassals, they're not going to have a chance, particularly if I take their, these two provinces, maybe even a third if I feel like it. I could take this one, too. Don't really care. So, let's look at the colonies. I'm going to have Taiwan. I'm never going to have a hope of winning out in this trade zone. Nope. I'm going to have Philippines. I'm going to control every province, exclusively me, in the Philippines. Except for apparently these guys. Well, they're Hindus. I can convert Hindus. I'll probably just attack them. The Malacca trade zone, I'm going to have a fight in, but that's a long way off. You know, if I were playing as anyone else, I would say you definitely take the diplomatic power hit here, and you value your mercantilism, because that trade power modifier is something that you're just not going to get very easily. But as Japan, I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to see how much that actually hurt me. Yeah, okay, so my trade power should have decreased, but like I said, in the long game, I actually don't really care about mercantilism. Excuse me. I wonder if there's a way to kill off my current ruler. It just bothers me that I'm gonna it's possible, with him only having 2 years apart, or 3 years apart, it's possible that this wonderful heir will never succeed to the throne, and I won't get that Steam achievement. Not that I'm super, chasing after Steam achievements, but I don't have very many right now, and it would be cool. Oh no, they do it just to appeal to vanity, but it gets me. At least enough for me to know what most of the achievements are. The hardest achievement on there, the achievement that actually is like bragging rights, is they have you start as the Ryuka Islands, the animist Ryuka Islands, and control the world from there. I can't imagine doing that. I mean, okay. So, levying additional taxes. The prospect of war only a fading memory. Our realm is prosperous and stable. That's exactly what I want to hear. That is the Japan I'm going for. The officials within the treasury are suggesting levying a special tax this year to share the productive times. We need mid, not money. That does not sound like me. We need money. Yes, definitely. If there had been technology, it's like a third option, I would have jumped all over it, but... Oh, great. So... we can pick up this idea. We can pick up national ideas, which will allow us to go pick up our exploration ideas, which you need for Quest for the New World to reveal the Philippines. You'd think this could be good too, and this does have the casus belli against all the less advanced nations in Asia. That's super awesome. But if I want to be peaceful and I want to take the Philippines, I have to get this idea. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. And then I will send a colonist over to Taiwan, but this is a great opportunity for my leader to die. So he can die fighting rebels. Or not rebels. Oh, rats. I lost track of time and let this get over 190. Well, I saved myself some gold. I've heard people say that commentating decreases their play skill a little bit. Definitely hurts on the micro, but I'm much more of a macro player. Doesn't mean I don't like to do a little macro like this. Having less fleets is easier. Navies is easier to keep track of. Okay, so I believe I still have my military turned up. Yep, still have the army maintenance high. So these 4 guys with this good leader, or any leader really, should be able to take on the natives of Taiwan. So, oh, I don't have the 400 power to get it quite yet. Okay, I was like, why don't I have a colonist? I have the idea group, but I don't have the actual Colonial Ventures idea. I'll get it in just a little bit. I start to slow down the game and take my time once I get this quest for the New World, because you have to walk a conquistador through all of these provinces, and I don't have the economic incentives for each province, which is to say, I don't want to lose diplomatic power. It's trade efficiency. Trade only accounts for a tiny bit. Trade rage, I don't really care about. So even though, like I said, a mercantilism would be good, I'm just not willing to give up anything for mercantilism, so I'm gonna go with that. The economic incentives of colony, the way I... Awesome! Awesome! Not that I had any threats, but if you want to guarantee my independence, maybe that means you're not guaranteeing Korean independence anymore. So, what was my mission? Great. Well, okay. Let me just stick to one thing. The economic incentives. So you have the base tax. You have the, like, how difficult it's going to be to sit there and make the colony, which will be kind of part of the aggressiveness and ferocity. Typically, if they're super aggressive, that's fine, as long as you have any troops sitting there, as long as they're not very ferocious, how hard they'll fight. They can attack me a billion times as long as I have some troops sitting there. The other thing to think about is this number of natives. If you have more natives there, you'll bump this number up. So some places that might look like totally bad colonies, there's going to be a few down here in the Philippines, but they'll have just huge numbers. They'll have just huge numbers of... Okay, it's go time for colonist guy. Here, I'm going to slow down time a little bit. Don't want to get sloppy like I was up there, because as soon as I get a single colony, excuse me, I'll have a job for my second merchant. There'll be something, anything he can do. He can collect trade from this node. And then, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge micro guy, but I'm not gonna miss out on free money. As long as I can think of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get the second group and leave them in Thailand as well. Got a free advisor slot. No. Okay. Is there a better way to spend my money? No. And I definitely am not getting rid of him, because like I was saying, diplomatic reputation. Over here, you could see that the base is 0.05, and the diplomatic reputation is 0.5. So it's basically doubling my speed. Not quite, because I have some other modifiers, but I'm not going to get rid of him if it's like doubling my annexation speed. So I'll just pick up a morale of armies guy, I guess. Like I said, I don't really care about that, but he, I don't know, he'll help with the natives. Okay, from now on, Taiwan is considered our forward base for colonization. Yeah, I don't really like having money sitting around. It really feels like there's no interest gaining, so I want to go to war with Korea, so I'm going to... Oh, I can't take any diplomats off. Well, you could give someone a loan, and then they'll renege on the loan. And then you can attack them. Gives you a casus belli. So that's kind of a play that I do sometimes. I mean, if they don't renege on the loan, they give you interest. So there's that. But it requires diplomats. Once these guys are done annexing, I'll give some loans to... Ming never needs money. They're richer than God. But they... Awesome. This is awesome. Let me do a little explaining of why this is awesome. If this single sea zone is taken from Manchu, then I can take all of Korea and only be bordering the Ming. And I will only be bordering the Ming. That's it. So as soon as I get one of these guys back from annexing, I'm going to have... Okay, they did rise and revolt. I'm going to reduce my diplomatic relations by 2, which means I'll have 1 to spare. I'm going to make a royal marriage with the Ming. It'll give me the opportunity to personal union them later, but right now, I'll get a royal marriage and alliance with Ming. Bam! All of a sudden, I don't have anyone who can attack me, and I can just turn off my military, except for the ones that I'm going to be using for colonialization. I can just be having better... 33 prestige is pretty big. Here, let's give just a little look at a random province at my revolt risk. So if I bumped it up 2, I don't think that matters. So I'm gonna go ahead and get obscurism and hope that, yeah, still no revolt risk. Like I said, Japan's path is a peaceful one for me. I'm gonna try to... I know that there's some provinces up here that have historically always produced metals. So I think that they hard code the production of a couple of provinces. Like, we'll test it here. The last 2 times I've settled Taiwan, it's made Chinaware. So, we'll see. Awesome. Military tech. Some infantry shock. Now, I'll show you in just a second. You don't have access to the Western units. You don't have access to the Western units yet. But you do get some units that aren't super terrible. You have this guy, the Asian Aqua Bruise. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it. If someone could put like a phonetic pronunciation in the comments, then I'll try next time. But he's basically like the European musket guy or whatever. He'll take out any natives. Yeah, his stats are basically the same. I mean, I think he comes technology later, but what are you gonna do? You just can't westernize until you get a core next to an existing Western nation. Now let's crank the speed back up. Wow. Things would be going so much faster if I had this guy in power. He's just sitting on the bench. I don't know if any of you are baseball fans, but I was when I was younger. I might be from Texas, but I was a Mariners fan back in 2000 and... Oh man. Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved the Seattle Mariners. It must have been 2004 Seattle Mariners. Whenever they hosted the All-Star game. Well, I loved Ichiro Suzuki. Since we're playing as Japan, I could say that my entire connection to Japan when I was a kid was that I loved Ichiro Suzuki on the Seattle Mariners, and he never got benched. He was always their leadoff hitter. You never put your best player on the bench. Ah, I'm totally wrong. They don't hardcode it. Tea is now being produced in Taiwan. Well, that's fine. The demand for tea is high and the price is good. But if you compare that to Chinaware, it's not really favorable. Definitely would have liked Chinaware. For two reasons. One, it's cost more, and two, I want to trade. I have the possibility of becoming a trader in Chinaware, getting a 20%. That's not good. That's not good. I am going to see if I have any rebellions, and then leave legitimacy where it's at, because I might get an event that bumps it up, and honestly, I don't care about, stability that bumps it up. I don't care about legitimacy, which is the big thing that negative stability does for you. It reduces your legitimacy. None of that other stuff really matters, so I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want to keep my stability too high. It's like not a big deal as long as I'm not having revolt risk. So yeah, I really liked Ichiro. Was a big baseball fan, but now I find myself watching esports. I watch a lot of streaming and competitive League of Legends. My wife and I root for solo mid, even though they're not doing so hot right now. We're rooting for them. I don't know if you'll... Just the date when this video is coming out. It's a week after EU4 came out, so if I make some mistakes, be a little bit sympathetic to the fact that it's only been a week. But it is, I think, 3 weeks or 2 weeks until the regional playoffs for League of Legends decide if solo mid gets to go to Worlds or not. Just go through the motions here, check to see if I get better diplomat. Petition for redress. This is when, as a leader, you would allow the lowborn to come and gripe at you, and I almost always deny. Why? Because I'm a cruel, heartless ruler. No, because I don't care about rebellions. They can rebel, fine. Ah, drats! See, if I hadn't have taken this... This is immoral to you guys. If I hadn't taken this mission, I would have been able to get the knockdown revolt mission, bump up 2 stability, and then I would have easily been able to go back into the annex for whatever the reward is here. Administrative power. That was just like super easy. Would have been 2 free stability for like nothing. Okay. Moral of the story, do not take your missions ahead of time. Take them when you are about to achieve them. I don't really need prestige, but I don't want to lose administrative power, so go ahead and take my money, dude. I don't think it was a beggar. I think that was a... not a beggar. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and core this province. This is going a little slower than I typically hope for. Typically hope to get the core in Taiwan right about when I get 400 of these saved up. But due to having such bad leaders for such a long time, I have been getting my diplomatic power much more slowly. That is a shame. Well, looks like I managed to annex some folks. I'm gonna go ahead and marry into Ming. And they're sending someone over to improve their relations. I'm actually also going to ally with them. And the next people to annex are going to be... Just take all the boats and put them with the rest of the boats. I don't know, I don't like to have too many fleets. Go ahead and merge these boats too. I don't like to have too many fleets or too many armies because it's easier to just keep track of them this way. So I'm not actually going to delete the horses. Yes, I am. But who am I killing? These are just way too expensive. I wasn't going to because I wasn't negative, but... Okay. Next guy to annex, once again, will be whoever give me the most money. So, looks like 6.8, 4.4, and 6.8 versus 4.0, 4.2, and 8.5. So if I can do some math, this is 17.6, this is a total of 22 versus... Nope. This is 13.6 for a total of 18, and this is 16.1. So, I guess I annex these guys next. Oh, I'm stupid. I can annex them both simultaneously. No way. Anybody else more profitable that I just have slipped off my radar? No. Looks like no. Okay. I got some navy. Then I think probably China is protecting this sea zone, or I would send someone because I don't want to get any pirates. Pirates are bad. And you also get a trade modifier if you don't have any ships going by this particular sea area. That reduces it by 33, I think. 33% that is. Oh man, looks like I've gone over time. I'm going to take a little break.